Hey everybody, I just want to be sure I'm recording here. It looks like I am. Yeah, okay, good. I welcome you to my channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Darlene. I'll be doing a reading today on your deceased loved one or ancestor who wants to come through. And I already have somebody who is coming through. Pardon me 1 second. There's a little water here. Thank you. Okay, yeah, no, cut the deck. This is a gentleman who is Hispanic. He's around, I'm going to say 50-ish, give or take. He's showing me, when he passed away, he was in the United States, but that he's from a Hispanic country, and I'm feeling somewhere, it could be Mexico, but I'm feeling more Central America. But, you know, again, could also be South America, but that's what I'm feeling is kind of, not really that far south. He was here working as a, I'm going to say migrant worker, but I think he ended up staying. It wasn't a seasonal thing for him. He was working on a farm. His sister, I believe, was here also in the United States. Yes, he was picking fruit. He's showing me blueberries in particular was a big product on this farm. But he keeps making a big point about chemicals. He's saying apparently maybe he started out by picking fruit, and then he went on to being the person who administered or applied the chemicals to the plants. And he's making a very clear statement that his death had to do with the chemicals that they used, because that was his main job. You know, he didn't start out that way, but that was his main job, was the chemicals. And he's making a very, you know, he's kind of on a soapbox about this, because he's also pointing to what appears to be a silo. I think it has grain in it. I'm not certain what's in it. But he's just gesturing toward the silo, and he's saying, and he's moving his hand up and down, like to the top, to the bottom of this silo, and he's just saying nothing but chemicals, nothing but chemicals. So he's trying to make the point about how dangerous I think that well, obviously they were for him. It took his life, I believe, in the end. But just in general, how, and that's it, thank you, how dangerous they are. So let me see what the cards add to the story. Yeah, he is communicating that. The Hangman reverse, oh, you can't, can you see those at all? Kind of, sort of. Here, let me see here. And I know these are those dark cards that are hard to see. Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles in reverse, the Hangman, the Eight of Wands in reverse. I'm hearing one more, thank you, and the Emperor. Yeah, and remember, y'all, when I read this, if you haven't seen one of my videos, I don't take just the literal meanings from these cards like you would, I don't know, a love reading or a career. They are just images to help tell the story of this person who's crossed over. They are not always literal. Sometimes they're just a small little thing on the card that helps me to connect with the energy of that person. But I know some of you do like to know what the cards are. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, okay. Page, I know, I keep forgetting you can't see that because I've got this different setup. Normally my setup is overhead, so I keep forgetting you can't see that on here. Yeah, Page of Swords. And it just feels like I know it's the Knight of Swords typically that has a very specific message, but I'm just feeling that energy all over this card. very specific message that he's bringing through, and he was not allowed to bring through when he was alive. That's what this card is telling me. He was not allowed to communicate how he felt about these chemicals. Maybe this was a very large, influential company that he worked for, but it's clear he was not allowed, and that's what this Emperor energy is giving me. That the people who were in charge, these are the Emperor, can mean a lot of things, but in this context, I'm feeling this was the quote man, you know, the man, whatever, that was in charge of this company or this farm. That was just a big hush hush, no, we don't talk about the chemicals. We just talk about the bottom line and what it takes to get these products to market and get them sold, and that bottom line, and that's what their focus was always about. It was never about the health of the workers that worked there. But he's saying, bear with me 1 second here. Yeah, he's saying, I don't know if this has already happened or it's going to happen. He's just saying, but in the end, the truth will win out. That in the end, the truth will be told. That, well, this has two meanings. It's the King of Pentacles in reverse. And he's saying that these were not authentic, dependable people like you would assume the King of Pentacles would be in the upright. He's saying that they were the opposite. They were not truthful people. They were not people you could count on. And he's making the point, though, the second part of that message is, but in the end, truth will win out about that. The truth will win out about that. Okay. Let's see now. Let me, what other deck would you like me to use, Spirit? Oh, okay. That's unusual. Okay. Don't usually get pulled to this deck. And do you want me to, no, don't want me to cut. Okay. So now we're going to talk about, oh, and I feel like, I'm not certain if he had children, but I don't believe his children were here, or his wife or children, if he had them, that they were here in the States. And he's just saying that his sister was here. So I don't know if that means he didn't have any, or that they were back in his home country. But he did have family still in the home country. And he's making it clear to me that, and it may be this sister of his that's here, that she will, if she finds this video, that she will get the message to the other family, because she speaks English, whereas the other family may not, and they wouldn't, click on this video if it's in English necessarily on YouTube. So hopefully this will find the family. And these messages, and I always talk about this, these messages always are here to comfort the family that's left behind, so that they know this person's, when you recognize the story of this person, and then you recognize your story or the family story here a little bit, and put those pieces together, then it's rather unmistakable that this is your story, or the family that you know. You may just be a friend and you know this story, right? But the beauty of it is it's a rather unmistakable fit most of the times, and it's and it's a very narrow audience, so I'm never going to get famous on YouTube, I promise you that. But that's not why I'm here. That is not why I'm here. I have just been called to do these readings, and where it goes, and if it doesn't, I'm doing what I was called to do. And speaking of, please hit that like button, because that helps YouTube know that this is content that people want to watch, and it will push it to more audiences that will have a better chance of getting to the right people whose family this is. So that helps them to, they push it to a bigger audience. So that helps to reveal or connect, gets to the right people. That's the bottom line. Gets to the right people. And you want me to what? Okay. Thank you. That's why. All right, got it. Yeah, I am listening to those voices in my head, so bear with me. Let me start with this. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I think he's talking about his family back in whatever country he's from here. He's pointing these people out to me that, yeah, it's very poor where he's from. Very, very poor. And he came to this country to make a better life. Clearly, that's a very general statement. You could say that about a lot of immigrants. And so that's no big revelation there. Somebody in the family worked with horses. I think they took care of horses, like in a stable or something. I don't think that they trained them necessarily, but something around horses. So there could have been maybe somebody in the family that had horses, or they might have worked or probably still do work around horses in some capacity. And let's see what else. Yeah, and I've got two queens. One is in reverse here. The Queen of Cups is in reverse. I think, and then the Queen of Wands. Yeah, I believe his sister, I think he left a woman behind that he may have been married to this woman, but he left her at one point. I don't think when he left that country that they were married necessarily, but he came here because I believe this represents the sister that I mentioned that is in this country. She came here to seek her, fortune and better life. That's who this is. Yeah, to be victorious. And the message he's telling me about this card is that despite how his life ended, oh, sorry, I think I just hit my mic. Despite how his life ended, he still feels victorious in that he got to come to this country and live, in this beautiful country. And this is humbling. This is very humbling for those of us who take living in this country for granted. But he said it was the most beautiful gift he'd ever been given, was to be able to come here and to live and to experience an American life. I'm getting very choked up, actually. Sorry. Just the humble gratitude. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, not sorry. It's what I do. But I hope you Americans will take this to heart, that what a beautiful gift it is just to set foot on soil that we take for granted every day of our lives. Okay, let's see if I can compose myself a minute. All right, and they're asking me to shuffle. Yeah, I don't get the feeling that this man had children. I don't know that that was by choice. That just might have been that he couldn't have children. I don't know. That could have been part of why he and this woman, I think he and this woman broke up, and that could have been why. Potentially she wanted children or he wanted children, and that couldn't happen. I don't know the details of that. But the moon is in reverse, and yeah, the moon in reverse is, oh boy, I'm getting a hold of the story. It can be a lot of things. It can be fears, it can be secrets, of course. It means things, but in reverse, it means things coming to light. And he's telling me this very specific, narrow story here about this woman, that one of the I feel lesser talked about meanings of the moon on YouTube anyway, is that it can mean someone having a fear of men in particular, like a woman having a fear of men. And I think that might have been this woman. I don't get the feeling that she was afraid of him. That's not the message I'm getting at all. I'm getting the message that that on some level that was responsible. Her having a fear of men was responsible for them not being able to conceive children in whatever way that manifested. That is such a specific message, but that's what I'm getting, and they're asking me to leave that there. Let me see what else this might add to the story here. No, yeah. Well, he's just saying that he did miss home. He felt nostalgic. Sorry, I can't see. He felt nostalgic for home. He did. And this is a very different message. I believe this gentleman, probably in his home country, also liked to farm and liked that lifestyle. That's probably how he grew up. Because the Seven of Pentacles is it's about planting seeds and watching, watching and waiting. It can also be divine timing, waiting for things to come into fruition. But the message I'm getting from this specific card is that this man liked watching things grow. He liked the life on the farm, and that he did that in his home country, and that's why it was so easy for him to come here and do that. It was just kind of a continuation of something that he loved. But where he came from, they didn't use the chemicals that they used, or the farm that at least that he worked on. And this again could have been his family farm. They did not use the chemicals that they used here. So he's bringing that point up again. Yeah, and then when he apparently, when he got sick, even though, yeah, it was just too late. That's the only message I get from that. When he got sick, it was too late to save his life. There was just too much harm done from all these chemicals. And that there was just so much covering up. I'm getting covering up. The King of Swords, this is injustice and untruths with his whole story. And he's saying, yes, there was a time where he really missed his family and felt nostalgic, but not just his family. It was the nostalgia I'm feeling off of this is he was nostalgic for the kind of life, the purity of life that he had in his other country. Not just the chemicals that they used on the farm. They grew things more purely and, not just organically because it was a catchy thing to do and trendy thing to do, but because it was the way they understood that what goes around comes around, so to speak, when you put chemicals in. And I'm not taking a stand here. Pardon me. I'm not meaning to get on a soapbox about this. I'm just bringing through the message that he is pointing out here to help you know more about him, that it was just how he was raised, was to do things purely without chemicals, and that's the way he missed that when he came to this country. That's what he felt nostalgic for, was that type of purity and respect for the land. Yeah, and he tried to be strong about that when he came here. He didn't want to be a whistleblower. He just wanted to live his life in peace and do what he loved. And I know this is supposed to be about y'all, but this is just what's coming through, so I got to go with it. Yeah, but he just had to go in his shell and hold his tongue about it. He had to just, kind of bite his tongue and not say anything and go within. And in the end, yeah, he felt very left out because he was one of few, maybe the only one where he worked that felt the way he did. And also, second message, the family that he came from, had they known, and I don't know, they may know this now, but he would have been ostracized had they known how things were growing with all these chemicals and whatnot. They would have just frowned upon that tremendously if they had known. And I feel like, and now here we have the King of Pentacles in the upright, because they did things with integrity. The family and this farm or this situation where he came from, his origins, they did things with integrity. His family did things with integrity. They grew, they treated the earth with integrity. because they knew, again, what went around came around. And I could go on, but he's just harping on this. I'm sorry, y'all. This isn't so much about the family, but I've got a few more cards here he wants me to show you. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This means things are not turning or stopped turning. Is the feeling they're about to turn. That's the message I'm getting from this. But still harping on this whole chemicals and using chemicals for food and all that. He's making the point here but that is all about to change. It hasn't, but it's turning. The wheel is turning. All of that's about to change now, and people are waking up. He's saying that that there are entrepreneurs that have been what's the word? I can't think of the darn word. You're not allowed to succeed, put down in some way. You know, the system has not honored them for their entrepreneurial spirit, for this until just recently. And he's saying that thankfully that is starting to change. That these people are now being recognized for their for growing in this more authentic and respectful way that he's pointing out here. It's not just about chemicals, but that's a big part of this message. It's also about respecting the earth and honoring what is there as well. And then he's saying this tower is falling. It's, you know, it's not about to fall. It's already started to fall. It's, you know, if it hasn't already fallen on this big industry that uses so many chemicals and so forth, and people are starting to wake up now. Yeah, and here yet another card, and there's an end. The death card is an ending. It's an ending to this way of life, but it's also a rebirth. Death and rebirth, a transformation is what he's saying is coming now, and people are starting to honor he's calling them the old ways. Starting to honor the old ways. And I thought I saw, no, I didn't. Okay, now he's finally getting to, okay. There's someone that he's showing me, this is someone in his family, this King of Wands in reverse, someone in his family back home who struggled to be an entrepreneur, struggled to, you know, maybe that was this family farm. Maybe it was him in the family farm, but I feel like it's someone that was left behind, that he left behind maybe this person to come to America and this person was a family member who stayed on the farm to raise the farm, and it was just a struggle financially, and everyone was just such a struggle they could never really make it. And he's saying that's turning around now. That's turning around, and you're going to, you know, because of this change and these dominoes and this tower that's falling, things are going to start to change. And he's encouraging, if this person gets this message, and I hope that they will, he's encouraging you to hang in there just another minute. He's saying just another minute, because things are about to turn. That wheel is turning. Things are about to change, and you're about to be prosperous. And the fruits of your labor are about to change, and everything is going to be, you know, this is, it is a card of single and prosperous, but, you know, in this context, it just means things are about to be prosperous and turn around in your favor. That the people who controlled you with ego and were willing to win at all costs for their own agenda are falling by the wayside. Wow, that is a big long message. I don't think I've ever pulled this many cards in one of these, but it is what it is. So again, folks, please, if you got to the end, thank you for hanging with me. Please hit that like button and share this if you think you know who this person might be, so that it gets to the family who can be comforted by this person's message. Or if you just think this is a broader message that somebody needs to hear, I would be very grateful. And if you want to see more of this content, please subscribe, and I'll be back with you soon. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you, and many, many blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.